What is good, YouTube? This is your boy Aaron. I am back with another video. Now today we have more NFL content for you guys. As you already know, the Super Bowl is over. Tampa Bay Buccaneers won, and now we're in the off season. So I thought, what better to now talk about the NFL offseason, since the next month, March, is coming up, and that's going to be free agency. So it's going to be a lot of buzz swarming around, a lot of moving parts going to different teams. And as we already know, there's been a lot of trade conversations going around with all these different quarterbacks to these different teams. Matthew Stafford got traded, Jared Goff got traded. Now there's rumors about Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson's name roaming around, Sam Darnold. So I thought, why not talk about the NFL free agency, but talk about a specific team that I think, if they get this specific piece, will potentially put them from a pretender to a contender. And that team is the Washington football team. Now, the Washington football team, as we all know, they finished 7-9. They won their division, a pathetic division, let's be honest right now. But in the bright side, they did play Tampa Bay very competitively, albeit they had Taylor Heineke as their cornerback. But, man, imagine this. You have a top 5 defense already constructed, and you have some good pieces on the offensive end. You have a solid NFL coach in Ron Rivera, and you have a solid coaching staff already constructed. They just need a few pieces in there. Offensive coordinator would be nice, a better offensive coordinator. But overall, they have a bright future ahead of them. They just need a few pieces, be it maybe wide receiver, be it maybe a few O-linemen, and obviously the number one piece, and that is a quarterback. Sorry, Taylor Heineke, but you're not it. I'm sorry. They need something better. And let's just look at the history of the Washington football team. The best quarterback they had in probably the last 20 years, I hate to say it, has been Kirk Cousins. That's not saying much. Kirk Cousins is okay. He's solid, but he's not going to take you to the promised land. He's not going to take you to the Super Bowl, and he's not going to be a top 10 quarterback in his position. He's always been middle of the pack, maybe top 12 at most. So what the football team needs is they need a quarterback that not only you can say that they can build a team around, well, not necessarily build a team around, but you can trust lead you to a Super Bowl or an NFC championship game that will win you playoff games, that will come up big, and that will also has top 10 quarterback potential. So without further ado, let's get to the quarterback that I think that will make the Washington football team from a pretender to a contender.
Who's that
quarterback? Dak Prescott. You guessed it, Dak Prescott. Now, his name has been rolling around in the news lately. As you guys can see, him and the Cowboys have not agreed on a deal yet. It's been a big mess for the past few years now. If Dak Prescott goes to free agency, the Washington football team should be on the phone immediately to his agent asking, hey, how much money do you need? Because the ingredients are there. You add a guy in Dak Prescott who, when fully healthy in 2019, had a better passer rating than Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, and Tom Brady. He was top 10 in passer rating. As we all know, the Dallas Cowboys, you have Jason Garrett as your head coach. You have Mike McCarthy as your head coach. You have an owner that just can't get in his own way. And you have his son, who's the GM or the president of operations, whatever you want to call it, getting in their own way. And then you have all these defensive players that just seem to either not stay healthy, or they just seem to not know what they're doing and not playing consistent football. You have all this chaos. Now, be it, I admit the Washington franchise has not been have not been saints. They've not conducted themselves as a I would say, a functional organization over the years. But they've gotten better. Daniel Snyder, surprisingly, has improved as an owner. Hasn't gotten in the way yet. Thank God. But I believe that you put Dak Prescott with a solid head coach in Ron Rivera, a top 5 defense, which the Washington Football have presently constructed, and then you have some pieces on offense you could work with. What's his name? McLaurin. You have that running back also is pretty good. The offensive line isn't too bad, and Dak Prescott, who's arguably a top 10 quarterback. I mean, he was throwing with, albeit Amari Cooper is good. He's really good, but he's inconsistent. Michael Gallup is inconsistent. CeeDee Lamb is solid, but he's a rookie. You know what I mean? And he only had CeeDee Lamb for like 4 games before he got hurt. And let's not forget, Dak Prescott, he led the league in passing yards, and he threw for 30 touchdowns. I think it was 11 interceptions, and was top 10 in passer rating. So Dak Prescott is a very good quarterback, and I believe if you put him in a solid situation, a solid organization where the pieces are there, the coaching staff is not trying, being controlled by the owner, you know what I mean? Or they know what they're actually doing, and they've been there before. Put Dak Prescott in that situation. I believe he will thrive. I believe he's the quarterback that the Washington Football team needs. Just look at Jimmy Garoppolo, for crying out loud. Took a team to the Super Bowl. If Jimmy Garoppolo can take a team to a Super Bowl, Joe Flacco can take the names go on and on and on. If Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback with this defense, and he plays up to like he did when he was in Dallas, throwing 30 touchdowns, 4,500 yards, you know what I mean? Passer rating in the top 10. The Washington Football team can make some major noise. And the division is for the taking because the division is so moribund. It's so horrendous. Just look at the Philadelphia Eagles right now. They don't even know if they're going to have Carson Wentz or not, if Jalen Hurts is going to be the starter. They don't even know, are they going to draft a quarterback? Seriously, there's so many question marks. They fired their head coach. They have a coach that, if you look at the press conference, looked absolutely horrific. It looked terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I don't know how Eric Bieniemy does not have a job, but that's a different video for another day, different discussion. Then you have the Cowboys with all their players that are not performing up to the potential. And then you have the Giants that are, they've made some bright moves. They've made some bright spots. But Daniel Jones is just, he's just not the answer, in my opinion. He's just not going to move the needle stick. So the Washington Football team can take this division for grabs if they get Dak Prescott, who has a lot of potential. He's only 27 years old. Come on now. You grab him, you pair him with that top 5 defense, that solid head coach. You got yourself a division winner, and you pair him with a couple of receivers. You give him some weapons, which they have the money. They have good cap space. The Washington Football team, I hate to say it, it's unbelievably, because I'll admit I abandoned the team and went to the Packers. You know what I mean? Washington Football team might actually be a contender if they are smart enough, which it looks like they have been. I know these Dallas Cowboy fans, Eagles fans, all these other fans are not going to like this, but the facts are there. So I wonder, what do you guys think of this? Do you guys think that if they add Dak Prescott and they add a couple of receivers, that they'll be a contender? Or are they just the same old franchise? They're just pretenders. They're not going to do anything overall. They can win a division but still lose in the first round. Give me guys your thoughts if you do have any. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'm out.